This episode of Home in the Earth is a lot like the last one, except that it all happens in one room and that probably makes it a little easier to follow. This is how we built the master bedroom closet wall, of course using XPS and Lath and Stucco. At this point, the fiberglass shower base is already in, and we use cement board to form the walls because we'll be tiling those later. Of course, there's insulation between that curved wall and that cement board, and we also formed an awkward little closet in that curved space in the back corner. Let's start with just enough framing to get the plumbing taken care of. If you take the time to insulate your shower, you absolutely will feel the difference. I highly recommend it if you can. It also has acoustic advantages. No lath for this specific section. Instead, we need cement board as a smooth base for the tile, and we'll do that in an upcoming video. We're going to do the base of the closet wall in treated 2x4s attached to the concrete with Tapcon screws and glue. For the framing, I'm using pocket holes, which you can often see me drilling right there, with decking screws instead of nails. Yeah, I know it's much slower. Framing is not my specialty. This is just another alternative method that I'm trying out, and it works well enough for me. Go ahead and make fun of it in the comments. The algorithm is happy with negative or positive comments. That little blue pipe where the top right corner of the wall meets the ceiling is ENT conduit for the light switch. It's not exactly in the right place, so it's actually behind, outside of the framing. I'll need to work around it because I can't move it now that it's embedded in concrete. I'd be pretty mad at the electrical contractor, except he is me. Time to add some more outlets to this wall section. Another difference from regular framing is that I'm using this ENT conduit instead of just stapling Romax wiring to the studs. It makes sense for my situation where I'm pulling wires through the concrete and then through this wall, but again, it does take a little more time. These blocks are the starting point to set up my 4.5-inch toe kicks, so these cabinets will look a little nicer. Of course, they'll look a lot nicer after I get the maple face frame and cabinet doors up at some point. Someone asked me about where I get all the music. It all comes from YouTube itself. You can go on there and download these tracks that are put up by different musicians. And I usually try to pick the same musician for an entire video, even if I put 4 or 5 different tracks of theirs. This particular musician is named Nathan Moore. And finally, we get to the XPS insulation and lath that you all love to see. That big cutout is our extra large medicine cabinet. We'll end up covering it with 2 mirrors that will swing open. The screws I'm using here are the same 2 3/4 inch triple coated deck screws that I was using for the frame. I buy them in 25-pound buckets and then transfer them into smaller buckets for carrying them around. I think that's a 3 or 5-pound bucket on the floor there. I also use some Lath lock washers. You can buy 1,000 in a box for $11, so I use them liberally. You can see near the top there that I had to notch that insulation for that misplaced ENT conduit that we'd mentioned earlier. At least the conduit was misplaced within 2 inches of the studs so that that lath and stucco will cover it. That little door frame I'm installing is just strips of treated 2x4. I'm just using them as a formwork. It's just temporary so I can get a nice sharp corner with the stucco. And then I'll remove these before I put in the real door frame later. And Sherri arrives with the stucco. The next video is the rather epic and unconventional insulation and waterproofing of the curvy concrete roof. Don't worry, there'll be lots of XPS insulation and stucco. Maybe we'll kick that habit eventually. Maybe I'll break it into multiple videos. It depends how much time I have. Please like, subscribe, etc. to see it all. Thanks, bye.